What's up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, you know I'm going to always serve you truth and wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Want to give a big up to all of my subscribers, those of you who've been rocking with me from day one. Again, I thank you for your loyalty and still being supportive of me and my brand. I also want to give a big up to all of you who have just subscribed. Again, I want to welcome you to Lady Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. And if this is your first time ever viewing any of my videos and you like the content, make sure you don't leave without subscribing, sharing, and liking the video. I would gladly appreciate that. But on that note, I thought it was very imperative that I go directly into today's topic that I have served on my recipe for this evening. And the reason why I felt it was important that I did this particular topic is because whether we as black women, we want to face it or not, the truth of the matter is we are at war. There's a big time war going on for black women. And when I'm speaking in reference to a war, I'm not talking about black women against black men. I'm not talking about black women against white women or black women having a war against white men. The war that is going on is the black women against black women. And the reason why this has become a significant issue within the black community is because regardless of what we hear through the YouTube streets, regardless of the message that these brothers are delivering in the YouTube streets and in these man cave channels, the truth of the matter is there's so many different black women on so many different levels. And the problem is, it's not enough of women that are coming forth and really breaking down all the elements and really explaining to those who are uneducated, who are ignorant to the fact that there's different levels of being a black woman. And the problem is, it's too many of us that are being categorized and being grouped and put into the same box. Now, with that being stated, the issue is that there is a war between classy black women and ratchet black women. And the problem at hand with black women is that there are so many ratchet sisters who are angry with other black women that refuse to be ratchet. Okay. And the reason why I decided to do this particular topic is because I actually, from time to time, I am a subscriber. Other than having my own channel, I do float around and I check out and see what's going on outside of my channel within the YouTube streets. And I find it very ironic that, when I leave comments on certain videos or on certain topics that because I'm not willing to co-sign on ratchetness, that another black sister or another black woman, she automatically has a problem with me and think that I'm being bougie, or either I got personal issues that are not going right in my life, which is the reason why I don't support ratchet behavior. Now, the problem is that, it's too many women, as I stated, black women earlier, that are being grouped. And the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of black women out here who do not support the ratchet movement. Okay. Despite what you hear, despite all of what you see, because we know the majority of things that you witness when it pertains to black women, most of it is negative, because if you look on any YouTube street, that's all you see. You see black women beefing with each other on channels, or they beefing with other female content creators, or either they fighting in Waffle House, they fighting at IHOP. We see them scrapping in the streets like hyenas. You see so much negative publicity about black women that it makes it hard to believe that there are black women out there who actually handle themselves with class, dignity, and grace. Now, despite all of the negative publicity that you see pertaining to us as black women, there are some black women who have been raised right. who have had mothers who were real mothers, who taught them right from wrong, who taught them how to carry themselves respectfully, to carry themselves with grace, and to carry themselves with class. Some of us as black women have had mothers that instilled uh really positive qualities into us and taught us how to behave and how to act like women. Now, on the other hand, these ratchet sisters, half of them never even had real mothers who taught them right from wrong, who taught them how to carry themselves with class, dignity, and grace. And the reason for that is because the women who raised these ratchet females were also once upon a time raised by other ratchet women. So it becomes a generational curse, okay? And the problem is, as a black woman, if you are one in the few, if you're not part of the ratchet movement, you're going to automatically be ridiculed by other ratchet black females who know that you don't support the movement. For instance, there was this particular video that I was viewing on YouTube. And it was an interesting documentary. And the name of the documentary, for those who might be interested, is called Pimp Snooki. And the reason I thought this particular documentary was interesting, even though it's hella old, and the guy, Pimp Snooki, has been incarcerated for quite some time, and it's going to be many, many, many more years before he ever gets out. I don't even think he's getting out. I think they gave him, I don't know what they gave him. I think they gave him 40, 50 years. He may be really old, or he may not be getting out, period. But anyway, his documentary was based on basically his lifestyle as a pimp, and that he had 4 or 5 other young black women who were his, you know, prostitutes who were working for him, basically. And what made the documentary very interesting to me is, even though it was very ratchet, it just brought a lot of realistic outlook to me, that are some black women out here who are so shallow in their way of thinking that they can easily be controlled and manipulated by another brother that is just as ignorant and just as shallow as them. And it was very disheartening to me, but I find it interesting because it's things like this that really goes on behind closed doors. And these are the type of issues that black people want to, in the black community, they want to sweep up under the rug. They want to hide it and act like it doesn't exist. But anyway, I had been watching this documentary, and I saw how gullible and naive these black women were to allow another black man who was evidently very ignorant and lacked masculinity, if you actually ask me, because being a pimp doesn't automatically make you masculine. Not when you have feminine qualities and you overly emotional and you bitching about stuff that most average men wouldn't even allow to, you know, get them upset. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So I was viewing this documentary and watching everything that these young women were putting up with, the disrespect, the abuse that they was tolerating and taking off of them, off of this particular pimp. And the fact that regardless of how he treated them, they were loyal to him. They gave him his money. You know, it just was a trip, you know. And even though I didn't care for the whole idea, but I had liked the fact of realism that there are black women out here who really are slow as hell. And black women, we are quick to want to defend other black women who get called out. When the truth of the matter is, you cannot run to the rescue and jump to the defense of other black women just because you are a black woman. Because some of these black women are slow, and some of them are uneducated, and some sisters are just straight ignorant. So the moment a black sister, a black female gets called out, all of us as black women want to band together and jump to the sister's defense, not even understanding the dynamics and how she got herself in a situation to begin with. So it was just very interesting to me to see the lifestyle and what these women had to endure, and the fact that they were so loyal to a man that disrespected them and basically dragged them to the mud. But anyway, he ended up, you know, this dude ended up getting prosecuted, and he got sent off to prison because they found out he had a lot of underage girls working for him, and he was abusing them. He had like an R. Kelly thing type of going on, except his was far worse, being that he was actually pimp, and they have been investigating him for years. And the main chick who he had turned out and made one of his main prostitutes, she actually ended up being the one that snitched on him and threw him up under the bus and helped to get him prosecuted. And she also had to register as a sex offender, being that she supported him into luring these young black females to become a part of his prostitution ring. But anyway, that's a whole nother story within itself. So basically, the whole point was I made a comment under the video. All right. And basically, my comment was that, after seeing this particular documentary, I said, you know what? I count my blessings. I count my blessings that, I did go to school and got a degree. I did get married, and, I'm glad that I made, a better decision in life. That basically was my comment under the particular video. And that's all I was saying. It wasn't to insult and knock the other females who was resorting to that lifestyle. I mean, do you? If you comfortable with being somebody's whore and you don't mind giving the pimp all your money, then, may the force be with you. And that's basically what I was saying. Well, I didn't say that part, but the part that I actually said was, I'm just glad I did not have to resort to this lifestyle. So, of course, there was a couple of sisters who went underneath the video, and most of them understood where I was coming from, and they didn't get offended by the comment. Let me turn this down. They didn't get offended by the comment. They understood exactly what I meant. And, basically they said, yeah, you absolutely right. I wouldn't resort to that either. It's a shame, that it's women who have had to resort to this type of lifestyle. So a lot of these sisters understood where I was coming from. But of course, there's always those one or two ratchet sisters that will get offended when you don't support the ratchet movement. Now, this is the comment, and I'm going to read it out loud that I posted underneath this particular documentary. It says, watching this made me appreciate getting married, my master's degree, and most of all, knowing God. So many women have had to resort to this lifestyle because they had nothing else going for them. Hopefully, all of them have learned. And that's all I had stated. Now, I don't see anything. I don't see where that comment is stating that I insulted somebody or tried to make myself sound better than anyone. I don't see anywhere in there where, it was like throwing shade. Now, this is not to say that I felt some type of way, but this is for me to bring up my point, because again, people are entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to express how they feel. That is all a part of social media. We cannot get upset when people disagree or they have a different point of view. So I had a couple of sisters who went underneath there. One said, yes, sis, very true. Guy says, Mocha, you got props. Another female says, there are females with everything you possess and still have this mentality. Your worldly achievements don't make you have I guess she meant to say, self-esteem and worth with no amount of education, marriage, etc. will about to give you. Now, my thing is, I'm going to go through a couple of these comments because this is the point that I want a lot of black women to understand. This is the reason why we don't get all the respect that we need from other black men, from other black women, and from other black men, from white women and white men. This is the reason why society kind of shuns us away, because the truth of the matter is we don't even have the best intentions as to when it comes to each other. We don't even know how to support each other. We don't even know how to build each other. Okay. Now, my thing is, for this sister who goes by the name of WH, if she's even a sister, and it's always the ones who talk the most trash that don't have a profile picture. She basically tried to insinuate that, hey, so what if you got degrees? So what if you married? So what? I know women who got all of that, and that still doesn't compensate for your self-esteem. That still doesn't make you better. I guess that's what she's trying to insinuate. This is what we have to deal with as black women when it comes to not supporting the ratchet movement. It's always when a sister tries to put positive information out there and she says, I'm glad I went to school, I'm glad I own my own business, I'm glad, that all of my kids went to college. It's always when a black woman tries to share her accomplishments, share her knowledge, and share her wisdom. It's always those one or two ratchet bitter sisters that have to intervene and twist it and make it negative. Now, would I have gotten more support had I said, well, I'm living in low income housing. I got 8, 9 baby daddies. I never been married. I'm living off the system. I mean, would they have respected me more had I came off as Ratchet and being in the struggle? And it's sad because you cannot share, as being a black woman, you cannot share your accomplishments. You cannot share, all of your fulfillments with other black women, especially those who support the Ratchet movement. And what I mean by the Ratchet movement, meaning sisters who don't have a lot going for themselves, sisters who have decided to stay stationary, they don't want to grow, they don't want to develop, they are comfortable with being where they are in life, and they have already given up. They have decided, this is where I'm going to be. I'm not looking for growth. I'm not looking for bigger and better blessings. I'm content with where I am, and that's fine. If you're content with your current circumstances and you don't want to grow, you don't want to elevate, you don't want to promote yourself to another level in life, that is fine. But when another black woman who decides to say, hey, I know I could have got in this situation, I could have fell into that trap, however, I chose to do things different, it's always those one or two low common denominator females, who feel some type of way. Because what happens is, what I notice is black women who are in the struggle, who are not really in a good point in life, they're not really doing well, they will get very offended when another sister mentions her accomplishments or mentions her success. They can't stand it. It's almost like you are rubbing salt in their wounds, because you are basically showing them that you are on a whole nother level. And some of it don't look at it as you're trying to inspire them. Instead, they become intimidated by you instead of becoming inspired by you. So basically, this female, WH is her initial. She basically, tried to degrade me in a sense by saying, yeah, so what if you got all of this and you got all of that? That doesn't mean, you don't have low self-esteem issues. Well, evidently I got some type of confidence if I was willing to go to school and better myself. A woman with low self-esteem is not going to try to broaden her horizons. A woman who lacks confidence, a woman who lacks self-worth, she's going to stay in the same position she's always been in. So for this particular female to throw this type of insult, and and I'm, like I said, I'm cool with people throwing their shade and having their opinions, but this is the reason I'm doing the content, because I know I'm not the only black woman that goes through this. There's a lot of classy black women who are handling their business, who made better decisions in life, and it's more so other black women that are ridiculing them than these brothers. Now, some of the times I go on these channels and I'm in the YouTube streets and I hear these other black men that have these man cave channels that are going in harshly on black women and pretty much, ridiculing us and, basically, not giving us the respect and the props that some of us truly deserve. And although, I respect their opinion, and the reason why I don't take it as harshly coming from a man, because I know men, they really don't know women in and out. They don't know how we operate. They don't know how we think. They're just going on based on what other women have done to them or other negative experiences. So I really don't fault these brothers 100%. But when I see other black women that are going in on other black women, it speaks volumes as to how we really feel about one another and how we truly connect with one another. But basically, it was other females who actually, they co-signed on it, on this negative concept that a woman who's striving for better and made better decisions, that she still obviously has low self-esteem. How is that? By you taking the time to knock my accomplishments that has nothing to do with you, you're actually the one that has low self-esteem. And this is the problem with black women in the black community. We cannot stand for another black woman to be confident and happy with her accomplishments. Because like I said, it's always that one big, bitter black woman, okay, that's a membership. She's part of the Ratchet movement. She do not want to hear nothing positive about another black woman. Because what it does is it irritates her. Bitter black women get irritated when another black woman has accomplished and succeeded in things she has never had the chance to succeed in, and most likely never will. Okay? So, I replied back to her. I said, that's my point. Because I have these things going for me, evidently I don't have low self-esteem, because I did make more positive decisions compared to these lost women that are lacking self-esteem to tolerate this abuse and accept this lifestyle. Worldly things do not define anyone's worth, but it does display that I'm willing to take a more positive alternative in life to keep my worth fulfilled. Okay, so that is what I stated. And then there was another sister that came underneath me and said, I need to get my master's. I don't need the marriage. I'd rather be single forever after seeing this sick shit. Okay, so basically, like I said, the documentary showed this man, this pimp, quote unquote, abusing these black women and, basically being loyal to him, regardless of how much he has disrespected them or whatever the case may be. And again, it's this ratchet, bitter black woman movement. It's always that one sister who says, I'd rather be single forever. And the truth of the matter is, I don't knock a woman who wants to be single. Maybe there's things you have gone through. Maybe you have been lied to. Maybe you have been disrespected. I get it. Relationships, sometimes they change you. And depending on what the trauma you experienced, it can make you become very bitter, or it can make you become very hateful and not even want to pursue another relationship. But the truth of the matter is, black women who get to this point to where they are so willing to embrace their singleness and they bragging about it, they're so proud of it. What has happened is that they basically have allowed their hurt and their pain, they have allowed that to block any type of potential long-lasting relationship. They have learned to use their hurt. They have learned to use their pain as a defense mechanism. And if that is what you feel you need to do to protect yourself, because I get it. Sometimes you shut down, you lock yourself down from relationships when you have been abused, when you have been taken advantage of, and you have been lied to. Your hurt and your pain becomes your defense mechanism. So what happens is, sometimes black women who have been betrayed and who have been burnt, and especially those who have not taken accountability. Those who have taken accountability for why they have been mistreated and for why they have been misused, they stand a better chance of getting a more healthy relationship in the long run, because they have taken accountability and they look back and they reflect and say, you know what, now I realize how I got taken advantage of. I went to bed with this man too quick. I moved him in my house too quick. I gave him a child too quick, not really knowing him well, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Women who take accountability will most likely stand a chance of getting a successful relationship, even as a failed one, when they take accountability. The sisters who don't take accountability, who want to blame everything they ever did wrong based on the men they choose, these are usually the ones that decide to hide under that shell like a turtle and say, I'd rather be single for the rest of my life. I don't want no man. I don't want this. I don't want that. And to me, that is just a front to basically use as a mask to cover up the fact that you are still hurting. You are bitter. You are upset about things that have transpired in the past with the brothers who burnt you, or the brothers who you allowed to put you in a position to get burnt. And basically, you are walking around carrying that bitterness, sis, like you carrying your Prada bag or your Coach bag. So when I hear sisters who speak on this, I'd rather be single forever, that's basically because you have not accepted accountability for contributing to the pain that these brothers brought upon you. Because if you really sit back and reflect, a lot of things you've gone through could have been avoided had you not allowed desperation, or had you not allowed his smooth finesse or whatever to manipulate you. You could have avoided it. But again, some of these sisters, not all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Some of these sisters, they will go around and hate every black man on this planet before they take accountability and say, you know what? Had I made better decisions, had I used my brain instead of using what was between my legs, I could have avoided myself getting used, hurt, and played. But you know what? It takes a woman that's very mature, and a woman who is strong and has a connection with God. Because if you have a connection with God, he will reveal you to yourself, to where you can't lie to yourself. But those of us who don't have a connection with God, it's easy for you to lie to yourself, because you don't have that spiritual connection for God to speak to you and through you. So when I hear sisters like this get on this bitter black woman movement rampage, I already know it's coming from a hurt place. So anyway, I went underneath that and I said, even a job at Wendy's is less stressful than what these women are going through. I can't knock the struggle of others, but I thank God I haven't had to succumb to this. And as a couple of women, chimed in, and, for the most part, most of them were pretty, positive, with their, feedback. There's another black woman that comes underneath by the name of Poison Ivy, and she tells me to humble myself. And I'm like, humble myself as in how? Because I'm not up here co-signing and crying about I'm another black woman in the struggle, because I am sharing the positive decisions I've made. Not that my decisions have been perfect. Not that I have not had my share of problems, and I still have my share of problems. But you're looking at my accomplishments as me displaying arrogance. And when you, as a black woman, when you're a black woman with a lot of class, female that has a ratchet state of mind, she's automatically going to feel like you think you're better than her. When really, it's not that you're better than her, because nobody's better than nobody. We all going to fall short. We all are full of sin. All of us don't have it 100% together. But when you're dealing with a ratchet-minded female, she's going to automatically be threatened by you, be threatened by your intelligence, be threatened by your knowledge. And she's going to automatically make you feel like you think you're better. You are arrogant. You think you all of that. It has nothing to do with me thinking I'm all of that. It has everything with me to do to know I am proud of the positive decisions I've made compared to what some of these other black women are doing around here. Because this is the reason why black women, we get so much flack and we catch so much heat from not only each other, but from also from other black men. Because the truth is, we do not celebrate each other's positive outlook on life. If anything, the moment one of us try to rise above and do something different, we're automatically ridiculed. We ridicule each other. Ratchet black women cannot stand for classy black women to step outside of the ratchet movement and make better choices, because in their mind, it automatically gives them a sense that you think you are superior. You think you're better than everybody else because you won't fall into that alignment of being ratchet. Okay, so again, this sister came at me and thinking I'm not humbling myself because I'm expressing my success and my accomplishments and the fact that I just have a different outlook on life. So I replied back, I'm very humble and grateful. When you think you're doing bad, there's always somebody who does worse. So while we get through all of that, right, what's the variable life is yeah, sure. I think one guy decided to reply and say, some of these women, some of these black bitchs are so slow and nobody wants to marry a borderline retarded bitch, and they damn sure ain't trying to get no master's degree. So, I had a brother that came underneath it. He understood where I was coming from. Let me see. I'm trying to find the main comment. Let me see. Newsflash: you can have a master's, a PhD, and any other degree. If you are broken, you are broken. You're an idiot. Now, this is the thing, black women. The moment somebody does something different outside of the ratchet movement, outside of ratchet behavior, we automatically want to knock it, because what it does is it reminds us of our failures. For instance, if I'm in a struggle and I'm not doing well, and there's another black woman in my circle and she's sharing all of her accomplishments, she's sharing about her new job promotion, she's sharing her new marriage, she's sharing she just graduated from Harvard, I guess, with her doctrine, and the more this other sister keeps going on about her accomplishments, it will slowly but surely start eating me up like cancer. It'll start eating up at me like cancer, because I know that I am nowhere in that position. So sometimes somebody else's, especially with black women, the problem with us is our accomplishments become a threat to our insecurities. In other words, the more another black woman, acknowledges or shares her accomplishments, it's going to expose me to my own insecurities and my own weaknesses. Because if I am happy where I am in life and I'm happy with my with my decisions, I'm happy with the life that I chose, I don't have time to get mad or feel some type of way with another black woman who has accomplished things, because I know in my mind and my body and my spirit, I have accomplished everything I needed to accomplish within myself. So I'm not going to feel threatened by another woman's success and accomplishments. And the problem with black women, those of us who have failed, any type of failure we have in life, if we feel like we failed in a certain area in life and another black woman has accomplished or succeeded in the area we have failed in, we will automatically shun her off. We will automatically feel some type of way. So if another woman is telling you, I got my degree and I'm happy, that I got my education, for another black female to say, so what? Big deal. You got your degree. And you can have a degree and still be miserable. My thing is, what does my accomplishments has to do with anything? All of us are broken in some type of way. Who's to say I did not use my accomplishments because I am broken to get out of that broken place? Who's to say that this is the reason why I'm sharing and acknowledging? Because maybe once upon a time, I was where you were. I was a bitter black woman in a bitter black space, hated my life, hated black men, hated everything. And I got out of that pool of misery and said, you know what? It is time for me to stop feeling sorry for myself. I need to get out of this box of misery, because I've been there. I've been there. Because it's only by nature to sometimes feel defeated in life. And anybody who says they never felt defeated in life will be considered a habitual liar. Because we all have been at some point in life defeated. I felt defeated at some point, because I remember being in that space to where I wasn't going to school. I was just a kind of at-home type of wife. I was an at-home wife at the age of 20 years old. And I never forget, I had just, me and my husband at the time just started really being serious. And we wasn't, we were still learning each other. And at the time, my husband, he still doesn't, didn't have a problem with me staying home and being a housewife and holding down the fort. But what started happening to me was, it started kind of, my self-esteem was slowly but surely deteriorating, because I was seeing so many other women outside of the household working, making their own money, going to school. I felt like they were growing, and I felt like where I was not growing. And slowly but surely it bothered me. But what made things even more complicated at the time was my husband worked a lot because he was driving trucks. And at the time, him and his ex-wife, they were still going through like a little custody battle. So from time to time, his kids would have to be with me while she was at work or while he was at work. Now keep in mind I'm only 20 years old and I just had my own child. And to go from never having a child ever in life to your one and only child, to transition from that to dealing with somebody else's four kids, it took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me to just be a housewife, and I was up here catering and babysitting other people's children. Then I understood that, I had to be supportive of my husband at the time, but it took a toll on me emotionally and mentally because I'm like, I'm not living my life. I'm up here stuck with my first child and I'm stuck with somebody else's kids. And at the time, his ex-wife, she was very selfish. She was very selfish, and she did not have any type of consideration due to the fact that, even though those were her and my husband's children, those were her kids. And she really didn't have any empathy. She did not care how often I had them as long as she didn't have to have them. And, it just kind of took a toll on me. And I just remember one morning I woke up and the kids were running all over the house. My baby was crying and I'm like, a light bulb just went off of my mind, waking up to a household full of kids. And I just realized, I said, this can't be. This is all there is to life. This is it for me. I mean, this is all it's going to be from here on out. I'm just going to be a stepmom and a mom while everybody else gets to live the high life. My husband is a truck driver. He's traveling, making money. He's establishing himself. His ex-wife, she had a job and she was going places and traveling and doing things. I'm like, I felt like my life was just at a dead end. There was no growth. There was just nothing happening. And I remember that day so clearly. I said, you know what? I cannot do this. I cannot do this anymore. I cannot just be a housewife and somebody's babysitter while everybody else get to live their life. I don't have a life. And that was that same week I went to Savannah Technical College and I applied, did my application, and got my behind in somebody's school because that's what it took to motivate me. So it's certain things that we go through in life. You have some women that won't get their stuff together till they get in a bad divorce or God forbid their husband passes away on them. Sometimes certain things have to happen in your life to motivate you or to force you to get up off your ass and do something different. And that's what it took for me. So when other black women are coming at other black women, they're not even understanding that once upon a time, I was in your struggle. I was where you were. I had kids. I might have had 3, 4 baby daddies, and I didn't let that stop me to get to where I'm going. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for me, but we are so quick to knock one another just because you see somebody's, accomplishment. You just coming in at the end of the movie. Where were you when the movie first started? Where were you doing the struggles? Where were you doing the hardships? So you cannot knock black women. We cannot knock another black woman's accomplishments because you don't know what all she had to go through to get to where she's at. If she's saying I got my degree, I bought me a nice home, I'm getting married, why are you hating on this sister or feeling some type of way because you don't know what all she had to go through before those blessings emerge for her? So I just find it very disheartening when I see black women always on the attack, especially these ratchet sisters. They always on attack for the sisters who try to carry themselves with class and grace. Because if you're not the type of sister, you're not cussing and using a lot of profanity, you're not using explicit language. Sometimes these ratchet sisters, you come off to them as weak, or you come off to them as being spineless and not having a backbone, which the truth of the matter is, you're not spineless and you do have a backbone. You just are mature enough to know every jab does not deserve a response. So sometimes you, as black women, it's unfortunate that other black women cannot support your positive movement, because like I said, I had sisters coming at me for a simple comment that absolutely had nothing to do with them. But like I stated, when you are feeling as if you are failing in something, you don't want to hear somebody else's positivity. For instance, if you are catching hell in your household, and you are, no, let me use a different analogy. For instance, if you are in a situation where you and are having a hard time, with relationships, you haven't been able to find a good man, as a potential companion, or somebody that could possibly be a long-term mate. And you're hearing this other sister over here talking about how happy she is that with her new man, and she's happy that she finally has a man that's supportive and is a good husband. When you hear another black woman share her success, and you are nowhere near that success, sometimes these black women, they bitterness cannot let them just embrace somebody else's accomplishments. Just black, we just don't have it in us to do that. We want somebody, we can only gravitate towards those who are in the same struggle as us. That's why, if you notice, you will see that some black women hang with other black women that are on the same alignment of struggle with them. You will see a girl that got 3, 4 baby daddies be friends with another girl who got 3, 4 baby daddies. Because again, it's about, you can relate to my pain. You can relate to my struggle. So therefore, I feel comfortable being in friendship with you, because you're not a threat to me. Your lack of not having, just like my lack of not having, keeps me comfortable. It's less threatening to me, because I know we're on the same struggle. But the moment, that's why you have some black women, friendships don't last, because the moment that one sister comes out of the struggle or rise above the struggle, even though the friendship was based off of the struggle, they cannot handle it. It's no different than two black women who both been friends since high school, okay? And one of them has, got blessed and got married to a man that makes a lot of money. And here it is, she's still not married. She's still having bad luck with picking up all type of builder bums or homosexuals or whatever. So, she doesn't want to keep hearing nothing about her friends' great, marital success. She's not going to hear, oh, me and my husband, we went out of town. Me and my husband, we just purchased a home. Me and my husband, we did this, we did that. If she's in a struggle, she is not going to want to hear nothing about her friends' accomplishments. And black women, we are cursed with this. We cannot stand to see one another elevate. It's like, I'm happy for you as long as you're doing just as good as I am. I could be happy for you. But the moment you do better than me, it's a problem. And black women, we are cursed with this. We are cursed with this disease of hatredness. Now, this one sister came to my rescue, and I appreciate it, that there's some women out there who can detect when another black woman is in her bitter, ratchet movement feelings, okay? Now, this sister by the name of Mariah Gaines, she stated, misery loves company. And some of y'all in this comment section are some miserable mother effers, for real. She didn't brag about anything. She listed things she was grateful for, because not everyone who looks like us gets to have those same opportunities. Exactly. She further says she didn't put anyone down. Just noticed that their self-esteem and sense of worth wasn't there. Y'all making ballpark assumptions about her husband and her and shit, crabs in a damn barrel, just because y'all can relate more to the girls in the movie than her. Stop hating and get something. Then you'll appreciate where she's coming from. And another sister says, it's not that they don't have anything going for them, it's that they believe there's nothing else better for them. You are no better than them except that you believed in yourself. And a couple of comments underneath there. And like I stated, typical, so used to a black woman being down that the moment she mentions anything positive, you automatically think something is wrong. And basically, it just was a lot of cattiness. And Mariah Gaines goes on to say, because I thanked her for understanding where I was coming from. And she said, "No thanks needed, sis. I hate a bitter ass have nothing in life, so I'll just hate on another next chick type bitch. You keep shining and winning, staying too busy to respond to bullshit and basic hoes." Oh, goodness, 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 goodness. And I just, like I stated, the comments, was irrelevant to me. It just gives me a bigger outlook on life that black women, we cannot stand to see another black woman win. And if you are a woman with class and you are a woman who carries yourself with grace, just be prepared. It's going to be ratchet sisters that are going to be hating on you, that are going to have a problem with you, that are going to try to make a problem for you. So just be ready. Just be ready if you are a black woman with substance, because there's going to be these low common denominator sisters that are not going to give you your props. They're not going to respect the fact that you are one who decided to step outside of the movement, into the ratchet movement, and move on to bigger and better things. And this is the reason why, ladies, these brothers have a hard time respecting us, because they see how we treat each other. They see how we talk about each other. And this is why other races and other genders also don't have any respect for us. So we don't need to be going in on these white women. We don't need to be going in on these black women. These black men, when we as black women, we are constantly going in on each other. So instead of just us embracing and learning from one another, instead we want to pull each other down, and it's this crab with a barrel mentality. And this is the reason why as black women we cannot grow. It is so sad that if you work in a workplace full of black women, and especially a sister who's been in the struggle, she would get a certain position, she would get a certain promotion, and just that quick, she will start to smell herself and think that she's better than all of the other women who starting from the bottom, who stood at the bottom from where she started from. Okay, now that you got this title and this position, now you think you can talk about other black women on the job or look down on other black women on the job. And this is the thing, as black women, we get we get so many things misconstrued. And this is why a lot of us are so mentally and emotionally screwed up. There's a way to be proud of your accomplishments, but at the same time, you have to be careful not to make everybody else around you feel small. If anything, if when I do share my accomplishments, I share them to try to inspire other black women. It's not always what you say, it's how you say it. It's one thing with me saying, "Girl, I got my master's degree, I give God the grace. It was hard, but guess what? If I can do it, hey, girl, you can do it too." Versus me saying, "Yeah, I got my master's, girl, and not only that, I got me this big time position at the law firm." I'm just up here bragging to you about what I have, but I'm not saying anything that can help you get on. I'm just telling you how I got on, but I'm not giving you enough of encouragement to inspire you to bring you on board. That's the difference between bragging and uplifting, okay? Anybody can brag and say, "I got this, I got that." But if you can't say, "Girl, I got this and I got that, but let me tell you how I got it. Let me tell you what I did and what you can do." If you're interested, I know somebody who knows somebody. But no, black women, we don't have that in our spirit to want to look out for other black women and bring them on and put them on. And that is why I can't really go in on brothers a whole lot. I can't really go in on these other races a whole lot, because we do each other in, black ladies. We do each other in. We do each other in, black women. So until we learn to get along, and until we learn how to support one another, and you don't have to throw shade because another sister is doing something you can't do, or whatever the case is, my thing is, I'm not intimidated. I'm inspired. If I see a sister doing something I want to do, I will reach out to her the minute and say, "Girl, what did you do? Who did you talk to? How can I get on?" That's the kind of sister I am. I want to know. You started your own business and you said this place gives out loans and stuff to start somebody off who has a small business. Who did you speak to? What is their name? I'm trying to get on. But no, we want to be the only ones to make it. Okay, we don't want to help the other sisters who not just talking about it, but actually being about it. And you see they serious, you see they determined. It is just so sad, y'all. But I have ranted on and long enough. I know this content is almost close to an hour. Give me y'all intake on this situation. Do y'all really think as black women, if you're not ratchet, that other ratchet sisters are going to penalize you for your success or your accomplishments? To you guys out there, have y'all seen other black women do each other in? What do you think has made us become enemies? I would also like to know from you black men. Maybe y'all can share some of y'all knowledge and y'all wisdom with us, because this is getting ridiculous. I'm just so tired of black women with the shade throwing. Okay, let's just learn and embrace each other's accomplishments, whether if you working at Wendy's or whether if you the goddamn CEO of Wendy's. Okay, anyway, y'all, I'm gonna see if I can try to do a live Friday. I want to try to get on with my girl Ruby Classic, so I'm gonna try to reach out to her and see if we can do a live Friday. If so, I will notify y'all. So if you don't want to miss out on any of my live events, make sure you hit that notification bell, y'all, because I be wanting y'all to be there. So make sure y'all hit the bell. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any content, y'all. But anyway, leave your comment below, and please don't forget, do not leave this video without hitting that thumb up. Just look out for your girl to hit that thumb up. And again, y'all, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me doing this chat. It's your girl, Lady Mocha. I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Y'all be blessed. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.